this morning. I'm Sarah Colvin, and joining me live on the phone, I welcome our Director of Finance, Mark Milne. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
How are you today?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So good news from the Government Finance Officers Association. Again, our budget has earned a Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. So talk to me a little bit, Mark, let's talk first about the Government Finance Officers Association. What is this organization all about?
Sure. It's an international organization. Well, it's the United States and Canada, pretty much. It's made up of about 30,000 professionals in the area of state, federal, local, municipal finance, and like I said, an organization that oversees or encourages the use of professional financial policies and techniques in managing state, local, federal financial operations, and they provide a lot of training. A lot of advocacy in changing accounting practices on a national level and so forth. So it's a very large organization.
It is indeed, and certainly reviewing a large number of very large documents. The budget document that's created every year, just here in the town of Barnstable alone, is a pretty massive document. And what they do is you submit it to them, and then they take a look at it and rate it on a number of categories. And from what I understand, you really have to earn proficient in or better in all categories in order to get this distinguishment.
Yeah, there's about 30 different categories that they score you in, and like you said, you have to score at least proficient in all those categories in order to receive the award. And the categories are basically broken into four main sections. How does it score as far as a policy document, as far as a financial plan, as an operations guide, and as a communications device. And then in each one of those four major categories, there are specific areas that they look for. Some are mandatory, some are not, but you have to score at least proficient in the mandatory areas in order to receive the award.
Indeed. And for how many years now, Mark, has our budget received this distinction?
Yeah, this is the 14th consecutive year. And you commented on the size. One of the recommendations from one of the reviewers, who, by the way, are volunteers. They're all volunteers. They can't be associated with the organization at all, as far as the organization that they're reviewing. They could be other finance professionals in other cities and towns. A lot of CPAs volunteer to review these documents. But one of the suggestions made by one of our reviewers was to try to reduce the size of our document.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they scored it overall, and they actually gave it an outstanding document as far as a communications device, one of the best they've ever seen. But they did suggest that coming in at almost 600 pages to try to find a way to reduce the size. So we're going to take a look at that this year and see if there's try to get some feedback as far as any particular areas in the document that aren't deemed very useful, and see if we can eliminate those.
Indeed, and so let's talk about why a town would want to submit their budget document for this award. Obviously, it's nice to have a distinction, but are there other advantages to having this review done on a yearly basis?
Well, I think it definitely rates well as far as bond rating agencies go. They see that you're practicing, some of the best budgeting techniques. These awards programs encourage communities to adopt professional budgeting practices, and they score you in those professional budgeting practices. And it also bodes well for the community and its citizens. I think it builds some trust and confidence in them that their organization, their city or town is following the best budgeting practices that are outlined and encouraged by this professional organization, which takes into consideration all the requirements that we must follow that are issued by national accounting organizations like the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. So it is proof that I think the organization takes its financial responsibilities seriously, and it tries to produce the best and highest level of financial information for its citizens and users of those financial statements, like investors.
Indeed. And so looking at some of the comments, obviously, as you mentioned, they did say, okay, you should try and bring it down to a little less than 600 pages. But was there anything else that stuck out to you in the comments that you received back as part of this process?
Yeah, another suggestion for improving the document, which is what we really try to focus on, is to constantly make improvements, is one reviewer thought that we could do a better job of linking the organization-wide strategic plan to departmental units. So we'll look at that. We try to ask every department to specifically identify a town council strategic plan. What part of the town council strategic plan each one of their specific goals refers to, and so we'll take a look at that. Perhaps maybe we can do a better area or a better job of doing that. In accordance with what that one reviewer was suggesting, but only 1 out of 3 reviewers actually stated that. But another, as you know, we made significant changes in the formatting of the document this year, and one of the commenters, one of the reviewers actually said it was an excellent job in the formatting. It's very consistent and professional. So we're encouraged to see that, with the major change that we made in the format, that was actually recognized and commented on by one of the reviewers.
Absolutely. Well, looking at it myself, it definitely seemed a little easier to navigate, a little more visually pleasing than in past years, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, one of the reviewers actually stated that this was an outstanding document from as far as a communications device goes. So, I think that's encouraging in that if they're saying something like that, then I think it means that the average person, somebody who's unfamiliar with our organization, like one of these reviewers, they were easily able to understand what's going on and what what the significant initiatives are, and that was another positive comment that we received, is in the town manager's budget message. It was very well done, and it really addressed the specific influences and the decisions that were being made as far as the allocation of resources. So, as usual, I think the town manager does an excellent job in writing his budget message. And that is picked up upon as far as the reviewers go here.
Indeed. Mark, I'm sure that as we've been having this discussion, some of our viewers are probably curious about seeing the budget document. Is that something that is still available for the public to view online?
Yes, it is. It's still online in the town's website, and I think the past few years are actually available. So if anybody wants to take a look, and they can see the significant change between the FY15 document and the FY14 document that was made.
Sure.
So, if they want to review it, it's there.
Great. Grab a cup of coffee and peruse the 600 pages of the document. So
put it on your coffee table for your company, when they come down.
That's a great conversation piece, right?
Yeah.
So will you be taking some of these suggestions into consideration while you're preparing? I know we're already in the process for the initial planning for the fiscal 2016 budget. Will you be taking some of these suggestions, into consideration as you put that together?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're always trying to make this a better document. So we will. We've shared this the reviewers' comments with the town manager's office, our budget director, and we'll be looking at these closely when we put together the budget document for fiscal year 16. And, one of the areas that we consistently receive suggestions for improvement also is performance measures, and as you know, we're addressing that now through work with the UMass Collins Center out of Boston, and so we're going to continue to try to add more performance measures in the document. There are several in there now, but we're going to continue to work on that. And that was one of the suggestions, was that we add more for each organizational unit, because right now some organizational units don't have any, but we're going to strive to have at least one for every organizational unit. Fantastic.
Well, Mark, congratulations, and I thank you so much, as always, for joining us here on Barnstable this morning.
Okay, Sarah, have a nice day.
Thanks, you too.
Yep,
bye-bye. Mark Milne is our Director of Finance here in the town of Barnstable. Again, another great thing to show the prudent financial management and organization we have here in the town of Barnstable. We are going to talk with you.